Hi friends. If you just want to hang out and get ready with me, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name is Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you're returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves all things movement and beauty. And this is Maddie. If you want to check out what I do on the daily in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. Maddie, what's up? What's up? What's up? You're being very needy today. Come, sit. Thank you so much. So if you haven't already noticed, we're at Maddie's house. I actually don't know if I will do anything after this get ready with me, but I thought, why not just film myself, put some makeup on? We have like a fresh little thing going on in the strangest place possible on my face. And I wanted to also let you know that before we go in with foundation, I have the EV technology. Maddie, sit. I have the EV Technology Daily UV Face Mousse on in SPF 30. I actually applied one layer on earlier today, applied another just for precautionary measures. And I thought, why not? Let's use a lot of the products that I have recently reviewed, give you a couple of updates as we go. We'll definitely start with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in 5 Tan. What I like to do is apply some on the back of my hand first. I feel like you guys are a little too far away. That's enough. And this is what I've been doing actually. I'll take one of my, either the Hourglass Airbrush Vanish or the Dior Skin Correct. Right now, for all over my face, I rely on the shade 4N, which is a little warm, but 3N all over my face is too light. So it could be 3N on the center and 4N on the rest. For the Hourglass, I would mix my Pat McGrath Fetish Sublime Skin something in 15 with Flax. Flax is a little too warm. I thought it was fine in store. I got excited. I should have waited or just not have purchased it and maybe tried on all over my face first in a sample size. I don't even think they would have had that. I think today though, this is what's happening behind the scenes. I'll take a little bit of Pat's foundation. This is in the shade, oh, it's 16. Oh my goodness, I have to change a lot of my description box shades. Oops. Let's go in, actually, I'll go in with Hourglass's Flax first. Why not? That's what I did yesterday. It didn't turn out too bad. So I'll basically just kind of sweep it next to everything, mix it all together, and I'll start on the center of my face. You know what? I am so dumb. I meant to do my eyes first because in the morning, I actually, to save time and to ensure that my sunscreen dries down properly, I'll start with my eyes first and then I'll go in with my foundation afterwards. Maddie, stop, you're driving me nuts. And this is my Wayne Goss 24S Fan Synthetic Brush, which I have been heavily relying on for my foundation application. Is very gray here, unfortunately, but sometimes because of how we're facing, if it's too sunny, then it's way too hot on camera. So if it would have been a little less cloudy, it would have been perfect. So I have to bump up the exposure. Unfortunately, I don't like what it does to the picture, but what are you gonna do? So I just used that much, and you see, although my hyperpigmentation is still peeking through, that's when we'll go in with the concealer to cover it up. And in that case, I could go in with either Dune or Flax together. So that could be like a nice pairing for the hyperpigmentation spots, or I can go in with 4N mixed up with a little bit of Dune. So why don't we do that? This is the Dior Skin Forever in 4N. This is how the shade looks like. And I'm gonna mix in a little bit of, you know what? No, I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna mix a little bit of the 3N. I think that'll be more of an appropriate concoction of shades. And I have to go in with my finger because I forgot to pack a small concealer brush. I'm like, I was going through my brushes yesterday and I just totally forgot to put one in there. Furthermore, I forgot to pack an eyelash curler. I don't know, I'm like, what? What is happening? And the crazy thing, friends, is that I have two. I have two for that specific purpose, to keep one in my to-go bag, and then I'll have one that stays at home. But unfortunately, the one that's my to-go got stuck in a box full of makeup, and I did not retrieve her because I changed my makeup bags a lot. And in doing so, I'll forget to put the eyelash curler in there when I do switch my bags. So how are we looking so far? I think that's looking good. It's so hard to tell with this light, but I think the different shades are melting together, because I was afraid if the 4N would have been a little too warm over everything, but I think that's okay. I kind of relinquished the fact that my hyperpigmentation is still going to show through, and that is my own fault. It is my own fault, friends. You know, you gotta just deal with your consequences, or deal with the consequences that you put onto yourself. Hourglass in Topaz. I like to start here on the back of my hand, and then I will go in with my finger. This is considered to be a corrector in the Airbrush concealer line, and I very much love the color of this. It erases my under eye circles. I mean, like, whoa, they're gone. By this time, would have liked to have uploaded my December, January favorites, because I did not do a December favorites. I think because during that month, I was doing a lot of best of 2019 videos, and in my head, I felt like I already did December favorites, but they were not December favorites. It was totally different. And that's why I lumped both months together for the January favorite video, so hope you don't mind. Just uploaded the Natasha Denona Love Story collection. Oh, that was a long video, but you know what? We made it. We made it. On top, we could go several ways. I've been loving the Hourglass in Sienna as like my highlight shade, or I also, one of you, I'm so sorry I haven't commented back yet in the reply, said that 3N in the Dior, I mean, just erases your dark circles, looks phenomenally smooth and just flawless. With the Sienna, I'll just put like a boop, boop, maybe here, boop, because this really packs a punch. The Hourglass packs a punch, and I feel is not ideal for that crazy concealer application that I feel many people should not, or anyone should be doing anyway, where you do the long triangular strokes down to your nostrils. The purpose of concealer is to correct or to add some brightness here and there, but I feel people really take it very far in basically covering their under eyes from nose to lower lash line. It's just so excessive. And in regards to the Hourglass, I mean, you don't need a lot. It's the same thing with their foundation. You don't need a lot of that formula for it to do the job well. And you see, even with that dot, how it just brightened those areas under my eyes, and it still looks pretty smooth. But since I have so many new concealers, I've just been mixing them, as you've seen here. So if you've been wondering how I'm using up this concealer, well, that's what I've been doing. Now we're going in with the Forever Skin Correct from Dior in 5N. I'll also place this on the back of my hand. I like to apply it over the previous foundation things that I had here, because I've actually been relying on this to use as my contour or bronzer. I go with my Wayne Goss number 12 brush. I know I wash my brushes. Who am I? I'll lightly swipe, and then I'll just go in this way. Sometimes I'll even mix this with the Shiseido gel stick in 401 Tan, and I feel the consistency of the Shiseido gel just kind of helps the Dior maneuver even better onto the skin when blending. And I think this is such a great formula to do this with. And I don't do this every day. I mean, I just love to because it's so much fun. And it also helps the powder bronzer appear color rich longer throughout the day. So that's why I insist on doing this step. Even though it's not necessary, absolutely not. But I rather go on to the back of my hand first, then dot the concealer directly onto the skin, because then you might have to work a lot in trying to blend it out. In this method, you have a little more control. And if you want more, then you could layer more. But trying to blend it down might be a tougher task. So we have a little bit of dimension. We have a little bit of sculpt. It's not too crazy, however. I'm so mad at myself. Do you know this was just, if I would have just left it alone, if I just would have left it alone and let it do its thing, it wouldn't have left this crazy mark on my face. What else? Gonna lightly set under the eyes. Been using my Hourglass veil. Tried and true. I only use a very little amount. As you see here, I just kind of tap what I need in the lid. I'll go with my Sonergy Designer Pro. I'll take some on the bristles and then I'll pat the rest on my hand and lightly go in. I found on days where, which has been happening way too often, I'll leave without setting, or I'm done with my makeup without setting my under eyes. And of course I realize it when I'm out and about and I'm like, wow, you didn't powder today again. But because of the dry down of the Hourglass, and I don't have super dry under eyes, I understand that as well, that it's fine. It doesn't move around, it doesn't slip around. I feel though, however, if I use the Shiseido gel stick, which I think is the most emollient out of all the three, I definitely have to set. Otherwise, my mascara drags or drops a lot. So that requires, for me, a little more setting than anything else. Going with my Pat McGrath Lab Sublime Fetish Loose Powder in medium 2. Not a favorite among many, but I'm actually almost done with it. Can you believe it? I am going through this powder like, whoa, but I love it so much. I do. Look at this. It is the Tuckahoe Z9. I still have my eye on the Z1, but you know what I bought, friends? I am so ashamed of myself. I bought that crazy expensive P8 powder brush. The most expensive brush on Beautylish. It was, you know what? It was the night before my birthday. It came back in stock after a long time because that bristle is very rare and only limited quantities can be made at one time. And I had my eye on it for quite some time. And I was like, listen, Alicia, it's okay. You know, some people spend crazy money on purses, shoes, and clothes. You have a Japanese brush addiction that's very expensive. So you know what? Just get the stupid brush. It's at home. I don't want to travel with her. I'm just too afraid that she's going to break. I don't know. So yeah, that's why the Z1 is on hold, because I eventually want to get that Fox set from Fude Beauty, and they are slightly cheap, well, much cheaper than Beautylish or even there was another site, Visage, I think it is. And they also have the Tuckahoe Z set, not only with the Z1, but with the, I believe it's the Z4, as well as that shadow brush. So I'm like, let me get the set. I'm sorry, I had to like stop talking and concentrate. I'm gonna get that set, and then I'll get the Fox set as well. Those two are still on the wish list. I have not forgotten about them at all. They really, I mean, these brushes have just changed the game for me, friends. And everyone still asks about Sonia. I think Sonia is great because her brushes are so well thought out and specific. And she has such an amazing brush collection. So when she designs hers, it's like she fills in the holes of that collection. She creates brushes that she feels that are missing from the market. And because of that, the craftsmanship, and also just, I feel like I'm buying her thought process. And I think very highly of her in terms of how much work and, what is the word I'm trying to look for? How meaningful her designs are. So when I buy her brushes, I feel like I'm buying her intellect, I'm buying her intention, I'm not just buying an expensive tool, and that's why I highly recommend her. And a lot of people feel the same, right? I think because of all the brands that have been releasing Japanese made brush, just say Fude brushes, you know, people always ask me about Refer, they should buy that instead of Sonia. Refer's role in the industry is just to change it up in terms of having brushes created and influenced by the community and versus just one person making them. So I love the process of them as well. But of course, I choose Sonia over Refer simply because of the designs. I think Refer, despite how great their brushes are, I think they're a good place to start using Japanese brushes. And yeah, the reason why they're so expensive is because they're custom made, right? So when people are like, I can't spend $500 on one set, like keep in mind, you're getting a ton of brushes that are made with your specifications, right? So you can choose the handle, you can choose the length, you could choose a lot of things, and those are made to order, right? So that's the reason also the high price tag. I don't know what's happening over there with that brow, but whatever. I'm going in now. So one of my clients gave me a Nordy's gift card for Christmas. I kept on waiting and waiting and waiting. And one day I just strolled in because I was hoping they would have the Tom Ford face palettes, which I'm not sure I'm gonna buy anymore. I was really excited in the beginning, but now my excitement has kind of like shrunk a little bit. I rolled in and this really nice rep from Hourglass was like, do you want a touch up? I think her name is Esmeralda, so if she ever sees this video, hey girl. She was so nice in touching my makeup up. We were talking about Hourglass products, how much I love them. I know some of y'all are mad at them because of that holiday palette, but you know, we're gonna still push for those deeper bronzer shades. So I decided to buy products from her because although I knew about a lot of them, I didn't have Nude Bronze Light, which I actually like, depending on the day. I like better than the Radiant Bronze Light because the Radiant Bronze Light has a little more sparkle. This is more matte and a little more neutral in color. If you want to take a look at both of them quickly, this is the Radiant shade. So you see it's a lot warmer. And this is the Bronze Light shade. So you see it doesn't show up a lot in the swatch, but that's why I like to apply the concealer first. So this sets up for like a really nice warm look. I like to go in my Stonergy Base Pro. Take Bronze Light and just kind of punch it on. And it just melts really nicely with the Dior concealer in 5N. I think it gives me the right amount of bronze and also a little bit of sculpting because again, the color is cooler, more neutral than the Radiant. And I definitely like to bring it up high so that it could lift my face. And Hourglass products are really, I mean, their powders look like skin. They really do in terms of how they blend, how they just melt with everything you apply. Another blush she sold to me, which I knew about, and now I'm kicking myself because I see that they're coming out with edit palettes that might have these shades. So I'm like, oh, I should have waited. This is Mood Exposure, which I think is probably one of their most popular blush shades ever. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I couldn't apply the Love Glow first. Why don't we do that? I'm gonna apply the cream base first. And you see, even though we applied the powder, this actually applies really nicely over anything you put on previously. It was hard to get that out, sorry. So I think this actually adds a really nice flush of color. And yes, update, I did see at the time, I was trying to check if Natasha had an instructional video at the time I was reviewing the cheek palette so that if there are any special instructions that I was able to convey those in my review video. Unfortunately, I did not check her IG. I checked her YouTube and she had something on IG. I don't know if she had it on at the time or after the fact that I recorded, but it's all good. It's fine. Now let's go in with Mood Exposure, right? So I'm gonna take my Z8. Tap some on and then just go over that, and I feel that locks in the color beautifully. And for those who like to apply their blush higher, you can definitely do so. I like the more flushy types of tones to be on the apples of my cheeks, But if you want the face to be lifted, then you definitely apply the blush a little higher so it could layer nicely on your bronzer or even just your contour. That's looking nice. So do you all watch Robert Walsh? I love him. Is it Walsh or Welsh? I'm blanking. Robert. Our Robert. He does reaction videos and I love those because he is a makeup artist, right? So he's not going to watch beauty influencer videos on how to do makeup because he already knows how to do makeup. So he does those videos because he feels strongly about the fact that a lot of these individuals share tips that are not really great tips for everybody in terms of how to wear makeup beautifully for daily wear. Maybe is good for on camera or something that just requires you to have more of a beat face. So he does those videos. If they share a tip that's not necessarily the greatest tip, he'll share why that is, and then he'll give his opinion on maybe what you can do instead. And I like it because it's so professional. He's not dissing anyone. He's just saying, hey, I understand what she's saying, he's saying, they're saying, but you could also do this, or I wouldn't recommend it because of this reason. So soft-spoken, so professional, and very informative. He did Raw Beauty Christie recently, and she did a phenomenal job. I think usually, her makeup usually is phenomenal anyway. So every time I do my makeup, I think about him. I'm like, what would Robert do? What would he say? Now, I don't know if I'm going to apply the other... because there's so much going on, and the model Natasha had on her IG video, I mean, her skin was like smooth, and my skin's not looking so smooth, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna leave that alone for now, and I'm gonna go into the eyes. And that's why I brought up Robert, because he doesn't recommend using concealer for an eye base, because usually if concealers are formulated for the under the eyes and under the eyes are dry, they're going to be a little more emollient in nature. And because of that, the shadows you apply on top of them will be more likely to break down faster. If you want your shadow to last, you need something a little drier, a little more grippy, like the Anastasia eye primer or even the MAC Paint Pot. I forgot to put the eye primer in here. I forgot to bring it with me, so I am left to go in my Hourglass concealer. Anyway, I know it's not the best thing to do. I like it for emergencies, and I've been liking it in general, but I do agree with Robert. If you want your shadow to last, even if this dries soft matte-ish, I feel it still is not dry enough for successful shadow longevity and wear, but it'll do, you know what I mean? We'll make it happen. So you guessed it, we're gonna dive back into the Love palette from Natasha Denona. A lot of people were saying some were saying that they actually got a good palette and their swatches were like Natasha swatches in her IG video. I'm like, uh-oh, it's like another Midnight Sun moment. And I'm talking about the fact that my first Midnight Sun that I purchased, when I swatched those mattes, I thought they were, actually I was surprised at how hard pressed they were, because when I was watching other people's videos, their shadows, Taboo and I believe it was Vermilion Venom, were softer and more pigmented. And now when I think about the swatches that I did yesterday with Natasha's Love palette, I think those mattes are too hard pressed. And some people were saying that their mattes were fine, that they glided the same way hers did on her IG story. So you know what I'm gonna do, friends. I'm not gonna return it, absolutely not. But when Natasha Denona's store gets it, I'm gonna bring it to them and say, hey, you know, a lot of my squad and I feel that I think there were some inconsistencies in the production of this palette. Not expecting them to give me a new one. Absolutely not. And not going there expecting that either. I just think it'll be helpful for them to know that what Natasha did on her IG video is not what a lot of us are experiencing. And I think Natasha wants to put out the best. And, you know, just to let her and her crew know that some of the batches were not the best. They were not Natasha quality. So that's why I wanted, you know, this is what I'm going to do. So I'll keep you updated on that. Why did I do that to myself? I'm like kicking myself. I want to combine Lila with love. But how are we gonna do this? I'm actually gonna do 2 different eyes too, I think. Per se with my reference number 15. I'm gonna use that as the transition shade because I wanna go in with Commitment from the Love palette. I feel that would be a fun combination, don't you think? Using my Esum G34 just to diffuse that further. Thank you all for joining in on my Friday night chat. So much fun and funny because we were talking about how I just can't get down with a lot of the artists nowadays. I just can't. It's like the music sometimes. I'm like, I don't understand why you're so famous. Anyway, we're talking about different 90s artists and just artists in general that we think are underrated. One of you has said Lady Gaga, but today I realized because I saw her on Elle Song Association YouTube video, and you know who is truly underrated, okay? Underrated and should be where Ariana Grande is today. JoJo. I slept on JoJo. I did. When she came out, get out right now. And maybe I just couldn't hear what her voice could really do, but she can sing. She is an amazing singer, amazing singer. And I don't know what happened with, you know, between her and her record label, Trust with reference number 15. But it is a shame. It is a shame. And I think she's coming out with the new album soon. I'm going to get that and put it on blast. I'm going to share it. I'm going to do whatever I can. We got to get JoJo back on the map, friends. We have to. Because I think she's such an amazing artist. And their singing ability is just unparalleled for me. It's compared to a lot of these people nowadays. You know, I'm not saying Ariana is not a good singer. I just wish I could hear what she's saying. She's hitting the notes, but she's not saying the words. She's not singing the words. I can't do it, man. JoJo, her riffs, going from high to low, her transitions is crazy. So definitely looking forward for any new body of work she's about to release. I wish this didn't look as patchy. I think a lot of these mattes are just too hard pressed. It could be the concealer too. Maybe if I had used the ABH instead of the Hourglass, it would have turned out a lot better. I mean, I could think about very, you know, different scenarios, but it's okay. We're gonna keep pushing forward. Little too late. I want to go in with, do I? No. I changed my mind. I'm going to use Amethyst for sure. So let's go in with Amethyst. I think that on top of what we just applied is gonna look bomb. So pretty. This is why Lila still remains to be my all-time favorite Natasha Denona palette ever. Oh, Maddie's checking out who's at the door. I think I want to go in with Dragon Bite. Is like an amazing duochrome, but so is, what is this called? So many names. Livid. I think I'm gonna go in with Livid instead. I'm gonna drop that on the innermost part of my lid and just press it there. I think that is amazing shade. Look at that shift. Gorgeous. Since we covered like that patchy spot, it works. You know, I think we salvaged it. But what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna clean up a little bit here. I mean, we're gonna cover it with shadow, but just for my head, you know, what's bothering me. I also want to go in with, I think I'm going to go in with Blind. I kind of did this look-ish in a way yesterday for my review video, but Blind is a really great color. It's an amazing color. I could have went in also with this shade from Lila. I believe this is called Juno. Could pop it on top. Juno definitely has more of a pinky lavender hue to it. That's looking gorge. You know, I actually want to do, you know what, I'm gonna leave it alone. I was gonna put down Valentine, that pink shade from Love here, but I think I'm just gonna put in more Per Se instead. That looks great. Amazing. Let's go in on the other eye. Yeah, I want to give Heartbeat another chance. Maybe I will put it on top of something else entirely. What do we have here? We got Sunrise on standby. You know what? What are we gonna do? Intense with my G34. I'm gonna put that on the crease first. I know I'm giving you two different eyes. This is actually what I've been, that brush was not clean. This is what I've been doing actually as of late, since I've been overwhelmed with all the eyeshadow that I have. I've just been doing two different looks and going out just like this. And then people are like, do you have two different eyeshadows on? I'm like, I sure do. And it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal at all. And this isn't something new. I think people have been doing this for a very long time. I just do it and I go out like this. I don't know if they do as well. I don't know of a lot of beauty influencers that have been doing this, you know, do it on video and take it off, but I don't have time. I just go out like just like this. That's pretty. I really love that color a lot. I do. Now we're gonna try Intense again. Intense was giving us problems during the review video. You know what it is? I think I need something a little, I was gonna use my Sonergy Classic Crease. It might be a little too soft for Heartbeat. I need something with a little more grit to move the shadow around. I'm actually just gonna pat it down and see what that does. I feel like maybe that will make it look a little more diffused. And also, what do we talk about in the chat? Oh yeah, talking about lyrics and how artists nowadays, I mean, they're not doing a whole lot in the lyric category. I mean, a whole lot in general. But when I mentioned The Roof, man, when you listen to The Roof from MC Valentine, like the first verse, it wasn't raining yet, but it was definitely a little misty on that warm. A little misty on that warm. Is it little misty on that? Hold on. And she did it with Mobb Deep. Amazing collab. I was right, it was warm. I was like, November, isn't it usually cold? But it doesn't have to be in NYC, Alicia. It wasn't raining yet, but it was definitely a little misty on that warm November night. And my heart was pounding, my inner voice resounding, begging me to turn away, but I just have to see your face to feel alive. And then you casually walked into the room, and I was twisted in the web of my desire for you. My apprehension blew away. I only wanted you to taste my sadness as you kissed me in the diary time. Feel the need, I envision you caressing me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a terrible singer, but doesn't that just give you the feels? Doesn't that just, I mean, everyone has been there. You know what I mean? Oh! So anyway, thanks for listening to my music tangent. Putting a little more heartbeat on that because my heart's beating so fast. Are you gonna focus on me? Focus. Isn't that her? I like her too. I gotta listen to more of her stuff. LMI, is it LMI or LMA? Summer Walker, someone mentioned it in the chat also. What do we want to do? I think, you know what? I'm feeling this. Let me change this battery, friends. Hang tight. That was a little challenging trying to keep this shadow on my finger while changing the camera battery. But we did it. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's nice. I'm happy we did that. I'm excited because we're gonna slap on, what's that shade called? Giving, right on top. But I wanna apply, I think I'm gonna do Lifetime. I'm gonna do Lifetime on the inner corner. That's gonna be fun. Yes. And you know what we're also gonna do? We're gonna take Giving now. This you definitely have to use your finger because I feel to get the most off the pan and onto the lid. Look how that just like zipped it up. Do we want a little more depth here, friends? I feel like we could get a little more depth from that. We could go in with this shade, but I still want it to appear a little more red. So that's why I'm actually gonna do the same shade we applied first on the lid and just put a little more here. That's fun. I'm gonna try to grab my reference number 15 again. I just wanna smooth these shades out a little bit more. Nice! All right, let's work on this lower lash line. I do wanna clean up, just wanna clean up here a little bit. I know we're gonna, you know, blend it all together, but just for me. Let's now go in with Trust. I think we could do Trust by itself. Oh, excuse me. So all my Nana babies out there, Drop down in the comments of any artists right now currently that I should give a listen to. That although they are current, but they are still great to hear, you know what I mean? And yay, Viseart coming out with their new Viseart Paris edit. The only reason why I'm not rushing to get it, friends, is because I feel like I need to give myself time to dive into this palette. I just got it. I need to, like, you know what I mean? I need to use this up first. I will say though, definitely get that instead if you want something a little more sophisticated than Love. I think Love is, you know, is very punchy, is very bright. Probably not for everyone. Just went in with the shade. And the Viseart Paris edit, I feel, is a little softer. It's not as in your face. This is definitely predominantly pinky purple. So if you're not into that type of color story, I think the Viseart Paris edit will be more appropriate. Should I have done that? I went in with Commitment just a little bit because I wanted to darken the outer corner more. I don't think I needed to do that, but it's fine. But unfortunately, those shades look really, really soft. So I'm not sure how it will do on deeper skin tones. While I understand Viseart mattes colors in general look really nice on all skin tones, I can't really speak for it until I see it in action. Ooh, Dragon Bite. Yes, indeed. Taking Dragon Bite, I want to put that on the inner part of my eye with my Smith 253. Probably the only Smith brush that I like. And its larger counterpart as well. I want to make sure this is smooth. You know what I'm saying? I don't want any rough edges. All right, Heartbeat. Mini Booster here on this side. Darkening that up. What shall we put on the inner part of the eye? I think I'm gonna go in with this color. It's like very Cyclone. It looks more orange in person, but it's all right. What did I do with that brush? I just had it. There it is, my 253. Put that on the inner part of the lower lash line. That's fun. Yes. And then Transparent from Love. I'm gonna pop that on the inner part of the eyes. Ooh, that's nice. You know what? I kind of want to make this sparkle a little bit more. So I'm going in with Abalone from the Coral palette because this is more of a topper. Welaster in Sunrise, I feel it has a little bit of a stronger base, and I don't want the base to take away from the smoky purple cool tone we achieved here on this eye. So that doesn't cover it up. It just makes it even more dazzling, darling. So here, let's zoom out. Do I want to put any? Yes, I do. What are you talking about? You better. Highlight. I definitely want to go in with the Glow Impact Powder from the Love Glow palette using my Sonergy Fan Pro. This I actually like. I thought this was a successful highlighter. I thought the consistency was really good and pretty much on par with the other Glow Impact powder she has had in the past. Unfortunately though, the camera really doesn't do this powder justice because of the very cloudy look we got going on. It looks very flat, but it's not, I promise. I promise. I also want to go back in with my G34 because as I zoomed out, I clearly see that needs a little smoothing out. Much better. How we're doing so far? I think we're doing all right. I have to put on lashes because I forgot my lash curler. I mean, I could try to, I don't know. I'm just, I don't have a, well, I kind of do. I wish I had a dark color just to put on the edge of my lashes. I forgot my favorite brush to do that with, so I'm gonna hope for the best and just put the band as close as I can to my lashes. With that said, put these lashes on. Lashes are on. I have the new Bunsum Russian White on, one of my faves, but I also wanted to show you, now I know this isn't a new product, but the Hourglass Luminous Light. Esmeralda used that on me at Nordy's, and I was like, you know, what have I been doing all this time? You can use any of the ambient lighting powders to buff, to add a little more blurring effect. I primarily like to just use it on the highest points of my cheekbones, and I do feel it just smooths everything out and buffs down any edges and lines of demarcation. A huge shout out to Kaleidos Makeup. They has sent me their lip products quite some time ago, and I just haven't for the life of me been here to demo them. So I thought, why not do it today? A huge thank you to them for sending these to me. I'm so sorry it took me forever. And also Muse Beauty Pro for sending me the Viseart Moisture Boost Lip Shines. Really love them a lot. They really make my lips smooth, okay? I'm actually gonna go in with the Esum liner in nude. I'm gonna go in with the nude side and use one of their lip tonics. These are actually quite thin for a liquid lipstick. I was surprised. I think Infusion is a nice nude shade we could use. Okay. They feel like water. It's crazy. They definitely dry down matte though. This is in the shade Infusion. Another shade, I think it's a little rosier, is Injection. I think this is a little warmer in tone, whereas Infusion, I think, has a little more of a beige situation going on. Yeah, it's a little more pinky, but I like it. I like it. It doesn't feel heavy on the lip. I'm generally not a huge fan of liquid lipsticks, but this is unlike any consistency that I have tried. I'm actually quite impressed with it. But remember, it does dry down matte, so if you don't like matte anything, maybe these won't be great for you, but I'll check back in a pinned comment because I'm going to wear this for a good portion of the day. I do want to go over their Fantasize. Look at this. Look how shiny that looks. This looks crazy. Ooh, that's really nice reflectivity. So let's pop that on top. I like the fact that it feels smooth. I don't feel the glitzy particles too much. Nice shine, eh? All right, we are done with our get ready with me. I actually don't know if I'm gonna go anywhere, but I just thought, you know, why don't you sit down and do some makeup with the squad, huh? Let me know what you've been listening to. If you did end up getting the Love Palette by this time of upload, maybe you received it, because I know a few of you were saying under the review video you were waiting for it still. So we could get some updates on that. Your favorite music artist, which is song you've been listening to, drop that down below. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, Friday night chat, or get ready with me. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.